Welcome again to another edition of First Person, again sponsored by the Crystal Room in Troy, your destination for your next event, whatever it is, large or small. Call them at 552-7680. Talk to Jessica Brown. You'll like the amenities, you'll like the staff, you'll like the location in the heart of Miami County, right on the interstate across from Kroger's on West Market Street. They say events perfected, the Crystal Room, Miami County's event center there in Troy. Talking basketball this week, I think practice started at the University of Dayton last Friday, am I right?
You are.
I think some of these people out there watching this recognize Archie Miller. We're going to talk about UD basketball today, and I first have to say that you must epitomize, after your season last year, you won 27 games, another great run in the NCAA championship. Everybody knows some of the difficulties you had last year in terms of, let's face it, playing with maybe coaching with one hand tied behind your back, and yet you epitomized doing more with less. Congratulations on that, because it was fun to see.
Well, I tell you, it was. It's a lot more fun to talk about it right now than go through it. It was an exhausting time, for our team, just in terms of the amount of energy that we had to put forth, the concentration, and I give our kids a lot of credit. They were very, very tough-minded. A very together group. They developed a very unique chemistry on the court with one another due to the amount of time that they played, and we probably had a rabbit's foot just in terms of not being able to deal with too many injuries and whatnot and have those guys available for every game. But I think most people that played us saw a very unselfish group that played very hard.
You apparently handled the stress pretty well.
Not as well as you may think.
Well, you look no worse for the wear. I also wanted to add, too, that you have to be the poster child right now of a lot of high school basketball coaches around the area particularly, but around the state and around the country, who say, see there, I've had to play with 6'2" and 6'3" kids all my life and had to win with that. You can do more with less, and you guys really epitomized that last year, because Kendall Pollard and Deshaun Pierre are the two biggest guys you have at 6'6", playing every night against 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", and yet you win 27 games.
Yeah, I think it's an old adage that you don't have to be the biggest guy to be the best on the court. And I think we had a great team approach to the way we handled our lack of size. I think our guards in particular really took it to another level in terms of helping the rebounding battle on every night. And we were a group of five, and we got our advantages as well. And the smaller we were, the more mobile we were, the more we could spread people out. We started to figure out the recipe for us to win was to really take advantage of our lack of size as well. So, and our guys did a good job, really embracing, I think, just the toughness element of things that, they weren't going to back down.
One of the things that I've always noticed about you, listening to you in post-game conferences, is attention to detail. Attention to the fundamentals of basketball, and we talk about this a lot during the course of the high school season with so many of the coaches in the area. When you're not big, when you're not formidable physically, it makes it so much more important to shoot well. Mm-hmm. If you don't shoot, you better rebound, you better defend, you better create turnovers, you better do all those cliches in basketball. Yeah. The fundamental parts of basketball, and particularly shoot free throws. Yeah. And I know I heard you over and over and over last year talk about that in postgame. We won tonight because we did this, this, and this.
Yeah, I mean, every team's going to win a certain way. They have to play a certain style to win. Our teams have always been, whether it's the small team of a year ago or the deep team of 2 years ago, we've always tried to pride ourselves on just the nuts and the bolts of the game. And if we can get to the foul line more than you and make more than you attempt, then we're being aggressive, but we're also being disciplined on defense by not fouling. If you can win the battle of the rebounding total, you're most of the time going to be right there to win the game. And the other thing is just not turning the ball over. And if you don't turn it over, you're able to rebound, and you can win the free throw game. To me, you're going to have a chance to win almost every game. And if we keep it simple like that, I think our guys really start to embrace how we have to win.
Archie Miller, our guest this week on First Person, the head men's basketball coach here at the University of Dayton. Would you agree with me, and I am opinionated if nothing else, but I would say that what you've done here in 3 or 4 years, and the way you've done it has given you a tremendous recruiting advantage in this area, because there are so many good, sound, fundamental high school basketball coaches who preach your language. You look right here in town at Petro down at Alter, and Travis Trice at Wayne. You look up our area in the Shelby County League, the MAC, the GWAC, great coaches there, and it's given you an advantage to go out and watch these kids watch you and watch you play and see the very things that they're being taught in a high school gym pay dividends at Dayton.
Well, I think that's one of the unique things about being in this area, and in particular in Dayton, the greater Southwest region of our, high school basketball leagues. You're dealing with, number one, really terrific basketball coaches that coach the game year-round, that study the game, that come to college coaches' practices, that try to get better. And when you're going to get a kid from this area in particular. We have 2 freshmen right now, Ryan Mikesell and Zarius Williams. Both played terrific high schools, both were really well coached, and they come in at such an advantage as a young person. And that's a great tool to have, in particular when you're in our area and there's so many good players.
Do you get to see and spend as much time as you want with the high school coaches in this area? Because I know a lot of college coaches say, I wish there was more time, and I know your schedule's hectic. I mean, it's basketball 13 months a year for you. But do you get to spend as much one-on-one time with some of those people and get to know them, or have them get to know you as much as you'd like?
You try to. You're in so many different avenues, whether you're in recruiting, and you get to know them, whether they're coming to your off-season skill workouts or watching your team's practice, you get to know people. And then I think, the biggest thing is just us being able to get out there and brand our program with people.
That's important.
And I think if you have those 3 things going all the time, you're going to develop relationships. You're going to develop a rapport with people. Even if it's our team camp in the summer that we've had over a 4-year period, I think it's one of the best team camps in not only the state of Ohio, but maybe the whole entire Midwest with what we've been able to attract. So definitely 100%. I don't think you can do enough. But I think there's constant areas to get those relationships going.
You mentioned Zarius Williams a minute ago, or a second ago, and he won a state title last spring at Wayne. I saw you at the state tournament taking that all in. That had to make you happy. But we have so many people in Mercer and Auglaize County in the MAC who read and watch and follow press pros during the day. I want you to take a moment and talk a little bit about Ryan. You and I would whisper in a hallway about him last spring. About the fact that him coming here, but he is here now, he's yours, and I know there's people who would be interested of your early assessment of Ryan Mikesell.
Well, I would say this, that I spent a good deal of the summer away in June while our freshmen were entering campus, so our assistants were working them out, and there was one name that kept coming back to me while I was gone, that the most surprising or the most impressive or the most consistent guy that we had of the new guys was Ryan Mikesell. And I was anxious to return to get my own eyes on those guys while they were here. And the first thing that I very quickly noticed was you're dealing with a very highly competitive young kid, a guy that plays the right way for the right reasons, whether it was a one-on-one game, whether he was competing in shooting drills, whatever he was involved with, he was a competitor. And I love to see that. I think the other thing is he's not afraid. He doesn't back down at all. He's got a toughness about him. And when you have those type of attributes as a young player before you know anything, you're off to a good start. And through our first fall, I couldn't be happier about his development. He's putting on some weight right now, and as practice has gotten kicked up here, I can see where one day he's going to go down as one of the better players to play here.
With some of your roster openings from last year, there's going to be some auditioning for early time here with young kids.
There's no doubt about it. We haven't had a year here where we haven't brought a young person in and they've had an opportunity to not only grow as the season goes, but have a niche in play. And I think when you look at our junior class, Pollard, Kyle Davis, and Scoochie Smith, their minutes as freshmen early on a deep team have contributed to their development. And I think these 4 guys that we have, plus Steve McElvain, I'd actually put him as a 5th freshman, because he hasn't played a game in college yet. They're all going to have an opportunity early to play, and we'll live and die with them here, but we're going to get more out of it than they realize.
We could talk for 30 minutes, except we don't have 30 minutes, so I'm going to give you a chance to sell your program a little bit. You don't have any trouble filling UD Arena as it is, but talk about the 15-16 Flyers a little bit, and just looking at your schedule, you got some really great teams coming here. You got Arkansas coming in out of the SEC, Furman's coming in out of the Southern League, a team that I particularly am anxious to see is Davidson University come in here.
Well, our non-conference schedule is probably one of the more difficult ones we've had, especially as we get through Orlando and we start to play, the Chattanoogas who are going to win their conference, or the North Floridas who played in the NCAA tournament last year. Every game that we play really is going to be difficult, not just the big name ones. We're on the road at Vanderbilt, and I think that we're going to have a non-conference slate that's going to prepare us for the A-10. The A-10 much better this year. I think that Davidson, Rhode Island, Richmond, you're going to make the case that those three are all back, ready to try to contend for a championship. VCU, new coach, a lot of the same players back. You have ourselves. I think the league is going to be deep, and I think every game is going to be very difficult to be involved with. But I like our team. I think that our team will get better as the year goes on. I think we have to stay with our young guys and keep developing them and not stop developing them, as the course of the season goes by, the mere fact you're trying to win every game. But I think that our team could be a unique team, a team that can play big at times, a team that can be very, very skilled at times. But the best thing I think that we have going for us right now is we have really good guys on the team.
And if the essence of basketball is putting the thing in the ring, the A-10's got so many great shooters that come in here. You talk about that every week about, hey, somebody's coming in here and this guy can really shoot. And that's exciting to watch. That makes for great basketball.
Our league's got some really talented players, but I think, at the end of the day, scoring the basketball is the thing that you have to be able to do to win. You got to be the defense is going to be there, but, to find those guys who can find a way to put the ball in the basket, that's something that every coach is always looking for.
And the shot clock.
Yeah, we can keep shrinking it, too, if they want to. It'd be fine with me.
All right. Archie Miller, our guest. Thanks again, Coach. Great to talk basketball with you and have this opportunity for people to get to know you and your program a little better. That wraps up this edition of First Person, again sponsored by the Crystal Room in Troy. Call Jessica Brown at 552-7680. Schedule your next event with her in the heart of Miami County. It is the area's most convenient banquet center, the Crystal Room in Troy. Thanks for your support of high school sports on PressProsMagazine.com. Until the next time, for Coach Miller and the sponsors, we'll see you then on First Person.